Hello and welcome to my channel On The Hook Crochet, where we talk about wearable crochet style. And I've started to expand into some other crafts, so if you like embroidery or you like sewing or other crafts, I might bring those up in my shows at some point. So today is about crochet, and it's about embroidery and some acquisitions I have toward the end. And what I want to talk about today, in addition to what I'm wearing and a finished object, is 4 whips that I have that I'm working on for spring and summer. Now spring is almost gone, it's almost summertime, so it's really very close to summertime. So I'm going to try to finish those 4 projects in the next month or 2, and also have an announcement about a new pattern. So stay with me and let's get started. Well, today is Memorial Day, as you know, and happy Memorial Day to everyone. If you know a person who has passed away in the service of our country, I hope you remember them today. If you know someone who has passed away because of the service to our country, then my heart goes out to you, and I really appreciate the sacrifice that they made. So just remember that today while you're having a barbecue or just time with your family and friends. I hope that you enjoy the day, and it's kind of heralded as the beginning of summer, and summer is a wonderful time. I enjoy summer. So I hope you enjoy the day, and just remember it's Memorial Day, and in memoriam I have a couple of little flags that I put out, and I keep them on my desk so that I can remember what day it is. And also I wore my America tank, and I said that I was going to do that. Today is Memorial Day, and I'm wearing this red, white, and blue cotton fair tank that I've had on many times, and I wear it for all my patriotic holidays. So I'll stand up and let you see it. This, of course, I made in cotton fair in the America colorway. It's red, white, and blue. Very, very pretty. And it crochets up really nicely. It's very, very light. And it's cotton and acrylic, half and half. So it's very comfortable. This one I made as I made the pattern. And that's the tank style. It's just a tiny cap sleeve. There's not much to it. And I promised you that I would make another top out of cotton fair and put short sleeves in it. So I'm going to wear that on Friday, but today Crystal gets to model it for the first time. So let's ask Crystal to come over and she can look at our new beautiful crocheted top that I finished just this weekend. So this is the colorway called Sunshine Day, and it's very pleasant to work with, and I love this yarn. Y'all know I do. I've got another top made out of it as well. So let me just tell you a couple of things that I did with this. I don't think I'm repeating myself. This is very simply made. It's made like the America top, only made a few changes to it. I did add the sleeves, and if you already have the America top pattern, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you want to write this down, you can just add it to your pattern. It is a tank top to right about here. Okay, that's where this top ends, right there. And then I crocheted 3 rows of single crochet at the bottom of the sleeve. So this one I added 4 rows of double crochet, and I used the same hook that I used for the fabric. So whichever hook you've decided that you want for your fabric, then you would use that on the sleeve as well. So you would make your initial run across the bottom of the tank sleeve and be sure that it's nice and flat. If it's not, frog it out, make sure that it's right. For example, mine was 43 stitches from underarm to underarm around that first row right there. So yours will probably not be 43 stitches, but when you do one and you like the way it looks, count the number of stitches and then repeat it on the other side. So I crocheted 4 rows of double crochet there. I single crocheted 4 rows at the bottom, and I also used a smaller hook for this. So I dropped down 1 size. I used an I hook for the fabric, so I dropped down to an H hook to do this very last few rows of the trim, and that way it brings the sleeve in just a little bit. You can probably see that actually. See how that's just a little bit smaller right there in the bottom of the sleeve measurement. So I like the way that looked, and the neckline was the last thing that I did. So what I did was I waited to the very end to do the neckline, and I tried it on, make sure that it's not gapping anywhere, and it was gapping a little bit right in here and also in the middle of the back. So what I did was I put stitch markers in my fabric here and here, here, and in the middle. And what I did when I crocheted around, I start at the right shoulder and with the right side facing me, facing up, turn the blouse inside out till it's right side out. Excuse me, turn it till it's right side out. And you start right here at the top of the shoulder seam. Join your yarn and chain 1 and then single crochet all the way around to the middle of the back, and that way you should have a stitch marker right here. See where my hand is? Right here at the middle of the back. And then you'll want to do a single crochet 2 together and do one of those and then go all the way around to the other side to that shoulder. I did a single crochet 2 together on each shoulder, so I'll tell you how to do this one in a minute, but I did this one second. And then I came around to this corner right here where the circle turns right there, and I did a single crochet 2 together at each spot, and I also already had that stitch marked, so I knew exactly where I was. And then I also did one right here in the center. So that really brought in the neckline all the way around and just in strategic points, so that when I did my second row I didn't have to decrease. I just did a single crochet row all the way around. Then on the third row I did another set of decreases right here and there because I knew that it was gaping more here than it was in the back. So I was already done back here, but in the front I wanted to put a little more of a decrease in there so that it would pull that neckline in, and it actually did. It's a very beautifully laid neckline. It looks nice on Crystal and on me as well, and I will wear this on Friday and show you what it looks like. At the bottom of the sweater I used 4 rows of single crochet done with the smaller hook. Now you can do it that way, or you can just use a regular fabric hook for that, but I wanted to bring that in just a tiny bit, so I did that. It's a little bit of a crop sweater, and it's also a little bit of a blousey sweater. It's got quite a bit of ease in it. I'm not sure exactly how much, probably 8 inches of ease in this one, but I wanted it to be loose, and it is not like this sweater. This sweater has 2 inches of ease. I measured it. It has about a 1/2 inch on each side that I can grab, so that would make 1 inch here and 1 inch here. So that's 2 inches of ease. That's not very much, but it's also a very giving yarn, so it's very easy to work with. Thank you, Crystal. So I'll be wearing that on Friday, but I didn't feel like I wanted to wear it today because it was Memorial Day and I wanted to wear my America tank top. Now, in order to decrease at the top of the shoulder where you started your row, you just turn her a little bit. If you can see that, there is a stitch marker up here. This marks the shoulder, and you should also mark this shoulder as well. I think I already told you that. But this is where you would start your next row. At the end of the row where you crocheted all the way around here, down around the front, did your decreasing if you need to, and then come on up here. If you need to decrease the shoulder seam, and it really should match this one. So if you decreased over here when you were swinging around your neckline, you really need to decrease up here as well. Right before you get to the end of the row, you'll stop 3 stitches before you finish the row. On the first 2 of those stitches that you come to, you would do a single crochet 2 together, and then on the last stitch you would do a single crochet, and then you would join to the chain 1 that began the row. And that way you will have completed all the decreasing on the first row that you have. Then the second row, of course, is single crocheted all the way around without a decrease. I don't usually decrease on every single row because then it becomes very apparent here that you've decreased. So I usually do a row of non-decrease and then a row of decrease unless the neckline really needs it. And then if it does, and since you're the designer, you decide if you need another decrease, go ahead and do it. And after you do it, if it just looks fine to you, that's great. And if it doesn't, you can frog it out and try something else. I don't know what it would be. In my case, I would probably just leave it because nobody's going to come up and say, gee, did you decrease 2 rows there in a row? I don't think anybody's going to do that. It's up to you. Some people that I hear comments from are very much perfectionists, and I totally get that. I am not a perfectionist, and you will know that when I do a project, if it looks okay, then it's going to be fine, and I'm going to move on to the next one. So if you're not like that and you feel like you need to redo something, you can certainly do it. And that's what my patterns are designed for. Now, speaking of patterns, thank you, Crystal. I had to come back and do this little piece of video because I forgot to tell you how to decrease at that last shoulder. I have an announcement, a pattern to come out tomorrow morning, and that pattern is for the picnic time sweater. And I showed it on Monday, and I'll put a link to the video up here if you want to look at it. I was modeling the sweater, and I really, really like it. I decided to, I think it was a week ago Monday, sorry. And I thought I would write the pattern, and so I'm all finished with the pattern. I'm putting the final touches on it this afternoon, and in the morning I'm going to release the pattern and also the email that will come to the community's inbox. So if you're a member of the community, you will get an email in your inbox tomorrow morning with a substantial discount. If you aren't a member of the community, go down in the description box and sign up. It's free, and you will get special discounts. Sometimes I send out patterns. I don't bother you on email very much, but I do make announcements there. So if you want to be a part of the community, you can certainly join up, and that way you will receive the emails as soon as the pattern is released. Today I wanted to talk about 4 whips that I have for summer that are going on. Now that I've finished my America Tank in the Sunshine Day color, I'm caught up with the Cotton Fair. Now what I want to do is finish some of these other whips that I had that I'd started in early spring, and I didn't finish them yet. So I wanted to bring these out and show them to you because I will be working on these. And this particular one is a new pattern. I haven't written it yet. I don't have a big plan for how I'm going to make it yet. I'm just making it. So I wanted to show this to you. This is made with an eye hook, and the fabric is Luna. It's a DK weight fabric, and it's made from 75% merino and 25% nylon. Let me show this to you. I've shown this before, but I wanted to quickly show it again because I'm going to be working on this along with some others as well. So I wanted to show you this. It's got a little bit of ribbing at the bottom. I don't know where I'm going with it. I might make short sleeve sweater. I might make a tank out of it. That might be a smart thing to do since it's going to be hot, but you know, it's also going to turn cold in the fall. And I love yellow and gray together. I think those are 2 really beautiful colors. Look how pretty those are. They really look nice crocheted together. This is not a fancy stitch because the fabric is very busy. Actually, it's not the fabric, it's the yarn that's very busy. The yarn is very, very busy. It's sort of like the Sunshine Day, very similar to that. That same kind of pattern, kind of splotchy and color pooling, but not stripy. It's not stripy, and I like that about this. So I have several balls of this. I hanked them, actually I balled them all up, and that's what they look like. Really pretty, 75, 25, and I got this from England, a girl in England named WoolyMamaYarns, and I will put her link down in the description box if you're interested in that. She does a lot of really bright colors. That is the most subtle color that I saw, and that's really what I wanted. I like the colors together, and I bought that. So that's my whip number 1. I don't even have a name for it yet. Whip number 2 is made from the URU yarn Sugared Sport by Knitcrate. This came in a couple months ago. This is the colorway Ruby. It's 70% merino, superwash, 20% nylon, 10% stellina, which is the very dense sparkle in this yarn. It's very beautiful. I get that right up there where you can see it. This is a great camera, and it's just my iPhone. But it really, this iPhone focuses so nicely. I really like the way it works. So there it is. Look at that. It's beautiful. And this was the colorway that I wanted. I actually let it come to me. I didn't change my colorway. So this one came, and then I actually ordered some more of that. I don't know if I ever showed you this or not. This might be part of an acquisition. I don't know. But I did buy the URU Sugared Sport yarn. Same thing. Only this color is diamond, and I just couldn't resist it. It is so beautiful. I saw this, somebody on YouTube had this, and I thought, you know, while it's doubled down and really, really inexpensive, I didn't pay much at all for this. It might have been $10, $11 a hank, which is a steal compared to what you usually have to pay for really fancy yarn like this. So I consider this a really nice yarn. And I bought 3 hanks of that, so I might have to wait till fall to make something with this. It's a sweater quantity for me, so I would probably want to make a long sleeve sweater, maybe, maybe not. Let's see how many yards are on this. There are 300 yards on each hank, so I have 900 yards of sport weight. So I'm just biding my time. I'm going to leave it on my wall in my cubbies and look at it. It is just really beautiful, and it's not garish either. This is not a garish, sparkly, ugly yarn. This is a beautiful yarn, and I really like it. But I'll tell you one thing, the sparkles show up much better on the darker color because the sparkles are gray or diamond color. This is how much I have done of this. I think I'm just going to make a tank of it because I think I only have 2 hanks of this yarn, so I'll probably just make a tank top from it or something very simple. But look how pretty that is when you crochet it. It is just gorgeous. So I'm going to continue on with this. It bothers me that it's sitting next to my desk, and I haven't really done a lot with it, but I do know that it's a, actually I have 3 hanks of that. Now that I see, look, I have 3 hanks, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that 3rd hank. Maybe make a cowl or something, I don't know. I'm using this little zippered pouch to keep this in, and then I'm keeping my yarn over in my storage area so that I can find it. But this is all I have to carry around. It's not too bad, and it's been fun to work with. It just slides through your fingers so beautifully. I really like it. The 3rd whip that I have is almost done. I'm very, very close. This was the Knitcrate yarn that I received. It was sponsored by Glenda Winkleman at Creative Grandma, and I have done a lot of work on this. I'm still trudging away at it because it's summertime and I'm having a hard time finishing a winter type sweater, but it has a little bit of a scoop neck. I'm already finished with that, and then I've sewn the shoulder seams here, and I've put some short sleeves in it, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I think I might just take it out to long sleeve like I said I was going to do. I have plenty of yarn for that. I have 4 hanks of it, and that should be enough. It's not a very boxy sweater, but it's boxy enough, and it's going to be very comfortable. This is becoming kind of heavy, so I think it's going to be more of a fall sweater, and it may be the last one on my list that I finish, but I am quite a ways along on it, and all I have left now are the sleeves and the neckline trim, and then I need to sew it up, but that's not too much. So I'm excited about that. I really like that. I always have. I've been working on it for several months, and I'm trying to make headway with it. Last but not least, I'm working on my Bamboo Pop black sweater. I haven't gotten any farther than I showed you the last time, but this is in my 1 of 4 whips that I'm going to be working on. And if you haven't seen this, I really like it. It is black Bamboo Pop, and it's going to be kind of a dressy top, maybe to wear under a jacket or under a cardigan sweater, maybe a gray colored sweater. I really like it. It's about elbow length sleeve, if you can see that, and the neck is not going to be very difficult. I'm just going to scoop the front. I'm not working on the back at all. I'm just going straight across with it, and that is on my 1 of my 4 whips that I'll be working on coming up, and that's made with an H hook, by the way. And those of you who love Bamboo Pop, and I have a lot of people that write to me and say they really like Bamboo Pop, I know what you mean. I really enjoy working with it. It's really smooth, and it looks pretty when you get finished with it. You don't look at it and go, gee, I wish I'd used another kind of yarn. That doesn't happen with this Bamboo Pop. So I'm trying to upgrade some of my yarns to ones that I really like when I finish. I don't want to look at something and think, gee, I spent all those hours on that and I'm really not excited about wearing it. So I'm trying to do better with that, and the yarns that I use I'm going to have to really like before I spend my time working on them, and you should too. Don't spend all your time working on an article that is made from a yarn you really don't like, because then it's going to be a challenge to finish it, and then they sit on your shelf and they don't get finished. And I'm a perfect example of that. I have some things over there on my shelf that I'll probably never finish because I don't like the yarn that much. And after you use a really nice yarn like this Knitcrate yarn or something like that, it's not, you know, a $30 skein of yarn, but it is a beautiful skein of yarn. And once you finish something in that, you just go, why would I spend my time making something out of a a yarn that I don't enjoy working with. So there you have it. That's my little philosophy for the day. But those are my 4 whips. Now my 5th whip is, of course, my embroidery. And I've gotten back to a little cross stitch, a little embroidery, and I used to be really good at this, and I found myself the other night working on it and really enjoying it. I just had a couple of hours to just sit and do stitching on it, and I really like it. This is something I've shown many times. This is a Dimensions kit, and that is a picture of the finished product right there. And it's got lots of pretty colors in it, but it's not a full coverage or anything. It's not something that's going to take me forever to make. And I want to show you the little bit of progress that I've made. I've made I've done the stem stitch across here, and this is a branch. That was a little bit challenging, but I did that, and I've started working on the shovel and the rake, and did the middle, like the little pieces of wheat. I haven't done the French knots yet. I did the bumblebee. I finished him with some satin stitch, and I think that's all I've done. I've done quite a few of these little squares that go around the pictures. A lot of those are done. I have a few left to do. And I have some of the pink and purple colors that I haven't really used much of. So I'm excited. I'm really working with browns right now, and I don't like browns that much, but that's all right. They have to be in there. But I have some really pretty colors of yarn to go. This pink and purple. There's another kind of a little bit of a purple I've used yet. And there's some beautiful colors in here. But there are also some browns, and I used quite a bit of this khaki color yesterday when I was working. Just kept having to work with it. But that's okay. Hopefully I'll finish this in the next week or two, and I will have it under my belt, and I have already been back into the embroidery scene, and I think that it's been fun, and I haven't been stressed out with it or not, and I've got it in my little zippered case, and that will be something I'm trying to work on in the next week or two as well. So y'all know that I'm working on some project envelopes with vinyl fronts, and I'll have those out on my Etsy shop eventually, but right now I'm still working on a lot of other things. All right, so acquisitions. Let's talk about acquisitions. I'm not sure I should be whispering, but I did receive the kit that I was talking about doing in cross stitch, and this is the kit. It is called Lost No More, and it's a picture of Jesus and the sheep. There are 2 sheep there, and I didn't notice this before, but there's a whole flock of sheep back here in the back, which I did not even notice. And when I received the picture, I thought, wow, look at all those sheep in there. And that'll be a challenge to embroider. But the cross stitch is doable, but I wanted to show you just a little peek at this because first of all, let me tell you about the fabric. The fabric is not something I'm excited about at all. It was a beige color, and it was a size 18. And if y'all are cross stitchers, you know that's pretty good size. It's for me, it's a pretty good size. And since it's such a large project, it was going to take me a lot of time. And I figured out how many stitches in this project. There are 66,000 stitches in this project. Now that may be nothing to y'all, or you might, your hair might be blowing back. I don't know. But here is a picture of one lower corner of the chart, and I'll show you. I just can't even believe that I can do this, but I'm going to try it. See? Look at this chart. Every square is, a cross stitch because it's a full coverage. Everything is covered here. And here's the other side. Everything is covered, and there are some areas that I think are uncovered, but I'm not sure. I think those are actually, they have a symbol in them, so they're going to be covered up. It's basically a full coverage. I felt like I saw some areas where there weren't any symbols, but I'm not really sure about that. But this is the top of it. It's in the sky and all that. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there it is. See how amazing that is? When I opened it up, I thought, wow, that is some project. And then the girl from Etsy that I bought this from, she has a shop, and it looks like, I know that some people had said they received this kit long ago, and the thread was in a bundle. It was just gathered up and put into the kit. And I thought, oh, I hope I don't get one like that. But the girl at Etsy actually separated all the strands of yarn for me, and she labeled each one. Isn't that the most wonderful thing you've ever seen? This saved me hours and hours of time, and I think she actually even cut the yarn because it's a little bit shorter than what's in the other kit that I bought. These are their colors too, actually. These are Dimensions colors. That's the name of the kit company. And it could be that their string or their strands come in a shorter length. I don't know. But here's another one with all of the colors labeled and all strung for me. Is that wonderful or what? People are so wonderful. That's wonderful. So that saved me 3 days of work right there, because it would take me that long to get this taken care of. So what I did was my second acquisition. Today when I was out, I went out to eat with my husband because he was home from work. And I said, we were driving by Hobby Lobby, and I said, can I jump out and just go in just for a second? You know, he says, okay. So he parked the car and I went in. And I was looking for some fabric because I knew that the fabric that came with this was very, very small. And I might give it up in the middle of it because it would just be too hard to see, or I would just get frustrated because it was so tiny. So I thought, I'm going to buy some cross-stitch fabric that is more to my liking, and it might be a little bit larger in the every inch would have fewer blocks, and that's what it means. We have a smaller number of the Aida or the other kind of fabric. When the number is smaller, the blocks are bigger because there are fewer blocks in an inch. So this is a 14 count Aida that I bought. There it is right there. I haven't taken it out yet, but this is what it looks like. Let's see if my camera will focus. Yeah, look at that. You can see those squares. Now, in the one they sent me, which was an 18 count Aida, I could barely see the holes. I looked at it and I thought, wow, how am I going to work with that? And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to go see if I can find some cloth that is more to my liking. And then I found somebody on YouTube that can actually grid fabric, and I might grid this too to make it a little bit easier to find those squares, because the squares are, I think there are 22 across and 30 squares down, times 10 times each other, which is 66,000 squares on the fabric. So that's a long project. I'm hoping I could finish it in a reasonable amount of time. I don't want this to drag on for a decade because I may not even be around at that point, and I might have to will it to one of y'all. But anyway, I just wanted y'all to see that because it came in the mail very quickly, so I'm real excited about that. Also, I bought a seam ripper. I looked for mine the other day and I couldn't find it anywhere, and I found an ergonomic seam ripper at Hobby Lobby, and it was $4.99, and the sign in front of it said 50% off, and I thought for $2.50 I'll have that. And it's got a nice rubber handle on it. I hope I don't have to use it very much. But since I've gone back to my sewing room a little bit, I looked for my seam ripper the other day and I could not find it anywhere. So I thought I'm just going to pick one up because I could spend 2 hours looking for that thing and never find it, and I could just buy this one for $2.50. So I went ahead and did that, and the Aida fabric was on sale as well, so it was a win-win today. After I ate my lunch, I dropped into Hobby Lobby and I took care of all that. So I wanted to say Happy Memorial Day to everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love that we honor our military who have put on the uniform and paid the ultimate price so we can have our freedom. So happy Memorial Day, and join me next time to find out what's on the hook.